What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a very simple guide to the Karazhan raid in its post-nerf state in TBC Classic Anniversary. I'm not going to go super in-depth with all the abilities and things that the bosses cast, because the chances are bosses are going to die so quick in these raids that it's really going to just be feeding you guys information that you don't really need. This is going to be a super simple guide like I started doing back in Season of Discovery. Basically, what to do, how to kill the boss, and that's it, okay? So if you want an in-depth guide, this is not going to be for you, but I'll be honest with you, you really don't need to know all of that information. You just need to know how to approach these fights and what to do, and that is it. So without further ado, let's dive on in. We're going to talk about Attumen the Huntsman. That is our first boss in Karazhan. So in phase 1, you're going to tank the horse. In phase 2, Attumen spawns and the off tank is going to pick him up. And at phase 3, they're going to merge at 25%. So what you're doing in this fight is tanks are going to keep the bosses faced away from the raid. They do a cleave. It's going to one-shot melee, so just make sure they're not facing the raid. When the bosses merge, it's just a tank and spank regardless. Healers have to just watch the tank during charge moments. They're going to charge around. Healers are just going to stay on point, watching the raid, making sure no one's taking insane damage. But as long as no one is standing in front of the bosses, you should be completely fine. If you get knocked back, just charge back in, intercept, whatever, sprint if you're a rogue, get back into the fight. It's literally just a tank and spank. The only real mechanic here is that you're not standing in front of the boss and getting cleaved. It's super simple in its post-nerf state. As for Moroes, Moroes is going to have 4 random adds. You have 2 ways to approach this fight, right? You can either crowd control the adds with sheep, sap, traps, fears, or you can kill all the adds and cleave them down right away. This is what we did over on the PTR, and it worked out fantastic. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this in pre-raid gear. We're going to try it in my raid, but you are literally going to just stack everything together. Your warriors are going to whirlwind and cleave. Your rogues are going to blade fury. Your hunters are going to multi-shot and explosive trap. Your warlocks are going to seed. Your mages are going to blizzard. It's going to be very easy in its post-nerf state. The only thing you really need to worry about here is the garrote that Moroes puts on random raid members. It's just a heavy bleed damage dot, so healers just have to heal through it when someone gets garrote. And tanks, you just have to be mindful of the threat after Moroes vanishes and comes back. Make sure to pick that up so that the DPS doesn't one-shot themselves. As for Maiden, the third boss in Karazhan, what you're going to do is spread lightly here. You're going to cleanse Holy Fire off people. You're going to heal through Repentance, which is a raid-wide stun, so be ready for that. She's going to drop a Consecration on the floor. All you really have to do is move out of this, but we noticed on the PTR that it didn't do that much damage. We kind of just stood in it, so this is going to be something we have to test here, on live. I know things are going to be different from the PTR, but this is a very straightforward fight, especially in its post-nerf state. Pretty much just tank and spank, watch the Holy Fires, the Repentance, and the Consecration on the floor. As for the Opera event, now you have a chance of getting one of 3 random boss fights here. You have the Big Bad Wolf, Romeo and Juliet, and the Wizard of Oz. If you get Big Bad Wolf, just don't stand in front. If you get turned into Little Red Riding Hood, you're going to run away from the wolf and heal through the fear. Very easy in its post-nerf state. If you get Romulo and Juliane, which is Romeo and Juliet, you're going to kill both around the same time. You're going to want to make sure they die at the same time, interrupt heals, and when they resurrect, burn them down evenly. If you get the Wizard of Oz, the kill order is going to be Dorothy, Tito, Strawman, Tinhead, and Roar the Lion. Then the Crone spawns, just avoid tornadoes and burn her down. Very easy in its post-nerf state as well. As for the Curator, the next fight, you're going to kill the small sparks as fast as you possibly can and wait for the evocation phase. He kneels down and takes a ton more damage. This is when you're going to be popping your DPS cooldowns, bloodlust, all of that stuff. This is so much easier in its post-nerf state. You're just going to blast as soon as that evo comes up. So as long as you make sure you're killing those sparks as soon as they come out, you're going to have no issues with this fight. As for Shade of Aran, this is very important. Do not move when he casts Flame Wreath. Absolutely do not move. This will wipe the raid even in its post-nerf state. He's going to cast Arcane Explosion. You're going to run away as he's pulling you in. Just run to the edges of the room. He's also going to cast a blizzard around the, a circle in the room. Just kind of stay ahead of it and don't get caught in the blizzard. If you do, it's not that big of a deal. You can kind of run out of it, or just the damage that it does really isn't bad in its post-nerf state. But you want to try and avoid it because it'll just hurt your DPS and make the fight take way longer. Other than that, not moving during Flame Wreath, moving out of Blizzard, and running away from Arcane Explosion, you're just going to burn him down. This fight is so incredibly easy, but you're going to be surprised at how many people wipe due to the moving and Flame Wreath. Next fight in here is going to be Terestian Illhoof. You're going to kill the demon chains when someone gets sacrificed in the middle. You're going to kill the imps with AoE and focus the boss. You're going to cleave bolt down immediately. You're going to mainly focus those chains when they're up, and you can cleave off onto the boss. You want to get people out of those chains because it'll make the fight a lot quicker as long as nobody's sitting in those chains getting sacrificed. But this entire fight is going to be a lot of cleave and AoE. Very, very simple fight. As long as you're focusing those chains, you should have no issues. It's, again, very simple in its post-nerf state, like most of these fights. So for Netherspite, he's also pretty easy in his post-nerf state, right? The beams are way more forgiving, but rotating properly still matters if the fight is going on for too long. So for the red beam, you're going to have your tanks stand in it. For the blue beam, you're going to have your DPS stand in it, preferably like a Warlock or a Shadow Priest, something like that. And for your green beam, you're going to have a healer stand in it. If the fight's going on too long, make sure to rotate people out. During the Banish phase, the boss takes reduced damage, and you're going to just have to avoid the void zones that he places on the ground. It's very, very simple. The fight looks chaotic and crazy, but to be completely honest, especially in post-nerf, it's very, very simple. So just remember those few things. Avoid the void zones on the ground. Get out of them as soon as they happen. Tank stands in red beam, DPS stands in blue beam, preferably a Shadow Priest Warlock, maybe a mage. Green beam is where a healer stands, and just rotate people out if they're in them for too long. It's very simple. As for the chess event, do we really need to even talk about this? All you have to do is focus on killing the enemy king. On post-nerf status here, this is pretty much a no-brainer. You're just going to take control of pieces. You could kill the healers if you want. Just beeline for the enemy king and take him down. As for Prince, you're going to tank him near the wall. You're going to avoid the Shadow Nova and run out if you get knocked back. If you are a caster, you're going to be standing kind of near the door. If you're a melee, you're going to be behind him. He's going to cast Enfeeble, which brings everyone down to 1 health. Don't freak out. You're not going to die as long as you do the mechanics. In phase 2, he's going to spawn axes that float around and attack random players. Avoid these, and healers just be ready for a spike in damage because people are going to get hit with these. In phase 3, he's going to drop Infernals down from meteors. Move away from the Infernal. Just make sure that, you know, as long as the boss is dying quick enough, you're not going to have to deal with too much of the infernal damage. Like, they're just going to come down in the room and kind of make it so that you can't stand in certain places. Obviously, RNG is a factor here. If you get a bad infernal drop, it's going to be a pain in the butt to actually, you know, fight this boss. So you're going to have to move him around. But again, very easy as long as you're avoiding the axes, avoiding the infernals. You know, you're going to get that enfeeble, which brings you down to 1 HP. Avoid the Shadow Nova. Ranged for you, this fight is just a no-brainer. You just get to stand still. For melee, it's a little bit more complex. You got to be aware of your surroundings and make sure you're not getting hit with that Shadow Nova. And for Nightbane, which is the optional boss inside Karazhan, most guilds aren't going to be doing this week 1, but the sweatiest ones will. It requires a summoning item, the Urn, which is a quest chain that you're going to have to do after you get some rep inside Karazhan. So if you are doing Nightbane, this is going to be for you. So phase 1, you're going to tank him facing away from the raid. You're going to move out of Charred Earth, which is going to be a fire that he puts on the ground. Fear goes out, so Tremor Totem definitely helps here. He's going to then fly up in the air for his air phase. You're going to kill the skeleton ads that he spawns on the ground. You're going to spread for Rain of Bones and heal all the heavy raid damage that's going to happen there. Nightbane is actually a little bit difficult still, even in its post-nerf state for most people. But these are pretty much all the mechanics. Tank him facing away from the raid, move out of Charred Earth, watch your threat the entire fight because it's going to be a one-shot if you rip threat on him and get meleeed. Watch the fears, put Tremor Totems down, kill the skeleton ads when he's up in the air, and healers be on point here because there's going to be a lot of raid damage. But post-nerf makes the skeleton waves a lot easier, and the damage that they're dealing way more manageable. So this fight will still be a little bit of a challenge in post-nerf, but not that bad. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's my super simple, very dumbed down Karazhan raid guide. I hope it helped anyone out there. I tried to make it as quick as possible. It's not going to be that hard. There's just a few mechanics you really have to watch out for each of these bosses, right? So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you love Classic WoW just as much as me, and follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. We stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.